Yes, you can email me. Right in my intro. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I'd be back. This is Hamburg, Germany, getting pounded right now. So, wild weather happening over in Europe, especially in Germany right now. Also, welcome everybody in the chat, real quick. I saw somebody asking for my email, so I will put it in the description of this once it gets posted right after the show. As soon as I hit end here, gets posted, and then I'll go put my email in there. Hello, everybody. Merry Christmas Eve. Alrighty, here we go. As we look at what happened today on the 23rd. Alright, let me get this started here. Whoops. In forward and reverse. There we go. Oh, I got it sped up here. Let me slow it down a little bit. All right, there's our regular speed. Take a little peek at the sun diving comet that comes into the lower left of the frame there. We got other objects coming out of the side over here. Right there. We got one. And then this one over here, this one's interesting. When we speed it up, you'll see it come out really slow, stop, and then something comes from behind and pushes it out faster. So a lot going on in this today. Nothing major coming our way, but a lot of activity going on here. So a few things I want to point out first are we got two events. This one right here, an object, and this event down here, and then this one. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of pause right here. Back up just a tad bit there. This one's interesting. It's got this split forked tail. I'm trying to capture the tail and the object kind of at the same time. So yeah, we have this event right here with our object right here. Got a small magnetic field around it. And then these twin tails coming off with this deep V cut into them. Possibly like a second object cutting into the wake that's coming off of this, splitting this wake a little bit. All right, so, and you see the instrument reacting to it right here, these two little pluses and everything. So that's the first little event right there sneaking out. And on my camera, it almost looks like a dice with the number 4 on it or something, but it's something going on right here. Some kind of object induced this small little CME with this fork tail type structure on it, which could be like a following, like I said, a secondary following object a little higher up, cutting into its wake, splitting it or something. I don't know. That's an interesting one that we've never seen before. So there's that. Then when we come over here, oops, let me zoom back out. All right, pull it back over here and start going up a little bit more. All right, so it was that email, but with all lowercase to answer that question in the chat there. So as we continue on out here, there goes our object there. Then we have some weird little event going on up here, and the shadow kind of casts and goes across the screen this way, almost as if an object went behind the sun and went in this direction, from right to left across the screen. See it up there? Doing that. Let me back it up. No, we're going backwards, but you see up here at the top here, we're just get a little bit brighter. As the shadow kind of passes across from right to left. You see that motion right there? It's almost as if an object's back there in the solar wind, cutting across behind the sun. And that's a new effect that we haven't seen before, okay? Then we have this little object coming out down here, and it holds up right here. It kind of slows up for a second. Well, if I can get this to continue. Right here, this little object's coming out. It's got this V-shaped little bow shock. This would be the wake kind of coming off of this little object. It's got this V-shaped bow shock up at the front of it. But as we go through this series of events, it stalls right there at that location or slows up. But then this pulse comes, hits it, and really pushes it out of the screen. Okay, and you can't tell when we're clicking one at a time here, but when I put it back in motion and speed it up, you will definitely see it. Then we also have the sun diving comet hopping in there, popping in the lower left here. Boom, and then that was it. So I'm going to put this loop back into motion here. The weather radio isn't working here in Alaska. All right. Okay, I saw that. All right. Sorry, just kind of reading a little thing in the chat there. We have a new member that I was conversing with here. All right. Anyways, this little object here, now when I speed this up, you're going to see the motion of this going across the top and the motion of this coming out, stalling, and then pulling out faster. So here we're going to speed it up a little bit. Well, a little bit too much. Here, we slow it down just a little more. All right, probably right there. All right, here's that little object. It comes out, it stalls. Wait, here we go again. It comes out, stalls right there, and then gets a little shove. Also, we have flow going in that region as well. Something going in there, some flow going in that region as well. Plus this weird shadow kind of zip going across the top back there. All right, so some different kind of activity now out of the sun. Stuff that we haven't seen before, all right? And that was today, the 23rd, December 23rd, 2023. How's this for dates? 12, 23, 20, 23. So, and then tomorrow will be the 24th. Anyways, a bunch of 23s up there. That's an unlucky number. Alrighty, so there's your activity for today. Then, as we come over to here, this instrument, you can see that our GOES X-ray flux has been very, very quiet today. Not even really worth zooming in on because it's just hugging the seafloor with just minimal little bumps. Almost kind of suppressed quietness or something, which is good. We'll take that. I like it when it's nice and quiet like this. Also, our geomagnetic forecast, nothing for the next 3 days. Here, when we look at our KP index, you can see we've had a little fluctuations up and down right here, but nothing above KP3. And KP3 is like kind of normal running, zone right there. So, nothing really too major going on right now. Okay, you can see this aurora. Let me back out of this and give you the double aurora right there. Okay, a little while ago when it was over in this region, there was a brief little yellow in there for a second. So a minor little absorption that we had today, but nothing too much, and it's already kind of dissipated and gone. But you can see that we still have, it's not faint like it is some nights, so we are still absorbing some either solar wind or, some kind of activity still. Minor, but not, it's not a zero either. Okay, this big sunspot right here, let me just pull this thing up right here. This big monster is facing Earth direction right now, and thankfully the sun's nice and quiet. Its X-ray flux is quiet right now, so hopefully this thing won't fire off when it's facing straight at us, okay? And I think hopefully for Christmas, God will calm things down for, at least for the holiday. Whoops, that's what happened. I went backwards. There we go. Okay, no major, the sunspots, none of them are beta or gamma or delta or anything like that. I mean, they're all beta, but no gamma or delta, so that's good. Slight little increase in our X-ray flux right now, but it's nothing much. You see our X-flare potential's down to 1, so that's good. Okay. Let's just come on over. What was this that I was looking at here? Oh, here is our temperature chart, because we're having these clouds up here, PCS or PSCs, these I forgot what they call them, polar stratospheric cloud, right? All right, so here it is, record cold weather in the stratosphere. Now we know why polar stratospheric clouds have suddenly exploded. According to NASA's Mura-2 climate model, temperatures in the Arctic stratosphere just hit a 40-year record low for the month of December. All right, so keep that in the back of your mind. The polar stratosphere, okay, suddenly exploded when, or activity has suddenly exploded because of this dip in temperature in the polar stratosphere. And when we go over to the polar vortex, you'll see why. Okay, so just kind of keep that in the back of your head. Really pretty clouds and everything. They're iridescent and very, very pretty and stuff to look at, but they're an indicator of bad news a little bit too. So same with the auroras. Everybody likes to take pictures of the auroras, but that's also radiation coming in from space. All right, so let's get over here to our Schumann now, because we got some activity we need to talk about here. All right, let me just kind of get it as best as we can here for you. You see the camera too? All right, I think that's as close as they get together. All right, so off here to the left, you can see the big screeching event that we went through, and something odd that happened here as we came out of it. I'm trying to see if we can capture this. Do you see this little dip right here? It was going along at, what's this, probably 22 hertz, right around there. This little segment line, it kind of went boom. All right, can you see that little dive? I've never seen that really on this chart or on this instrument. Then also down here, right around the same time, this little energy down here at 39 hertz comes up a little bit and goes back down to 39. So there's a bubble going up and a little droop going down right in this vicinity right here, where we have this see this break in activity? It was squealing, screeching really hard, and then we had this one little line where it all stopped for a second and then continued. All right. Now, after this event, there's a little bit more screeching and stuff, but then it kind of mellows out. Our 7.8 hertz up here, pumping right along. And then, do you see this little black line right here? That actually cuts through the 7.8, goes right through it, and in the middle there's no signature, but just for a split second, or just for what, a few minutes right there. So that's where all this screeching and stuff caused the core and caused the magnetic field to get weak right here. All right, it's trying to recover. It's trying to recover, but it can't. And then it starts to go again. All right, so we had a little moment right there where the magnetic field dropped really low. All right, it didn't go all the way down, but you can see that little stripe right there. These are what I'm more concerned with right here, these little dark stripes than the scraping events, because we don't need our magnetic field going down when we have a inbound CME or any kind of radiation at all. All right, that magnetic field keeps us protected. So a lot of activity going on due to some inbound energy. When I said I saw some orange the other day, it finally absorbed. The core and shell are reacting because of the pressure down there. It sees some relief right here, but then right there again, there was just that brief little moment where everything kind of stopped for a second and then started back up again. All right, so these blasts do affect the Schumann, and these are the like one of the first indicators right here of pressure. So we do have pressure that has built up over the last day here, and now we're going into this next day. We'll probably see some earthquake activity and some volcanoes to relieve this pressure. It seems to have relieved right after this event right here. It relieved some, but we're very close. There's a lot of pressure still down there. I don't think we've vented it all yet. So let's come on over to our earthquake report now. Back up, scooch back in, okay. All right. So let's dive on in here. Before I get to the earthquake report, I just want to answer somebody in the chat real quick. It's okay that you interrupted or whatever and ask questions. I'll tell you what, if you stick around to the end of the show, we can talk a little bit, and I'll answer some questions for signs and wonders. Okay? So it's all good. I saw that earlier. Anyways, now let's get into our earthquake report. Here we go with our deep quake of the day, a 4.5 right here down at 520. So that pushes pressure up to the surface, and it goes into these two systems. So let's check this system first on this side. We got 5.6 at a depth of 10 and a 5.3 at a depth of 48. So we got some mid-range 5 energy out of this little push from down below. Okay, so mid-range 5 on this side. Now let's go over here and come on into this side. And there's more than one quake here. That's why I'm kind of zooming in nice and slow. All right, we got 4 quakes here. Let's squeeze these off here. One of them's a 5.8. Hang on. Let's get all this in the screen. I want you guys to be able to see this part over to the side here, so you can follow along. All right, sorry. 5.8 at a depth of 10. All right, we know how these guys like to round things down. 5.8, pretty good. 5.2, pretty good. A 4.8 and a 4.8. So high 4s to mid-range and high 5. All right, almost 6 right there. Now as we back out, you'll see where we're at here. That's the first little flurry going into the system. So a little bit of pressure being released right on the get-go entering the system, and note it kind of quiet through here. We get up here, we got a 4.9 That's down at 309. So there's 5 at the surface. That would be 5 energy. Here's a 4.9 again down at 124. Again, at the surface, another 5. This one right here at 309, that's a little bit deeper. Okay, that's a mid-range quake. It's not all the way down at 600, but it's at 300. So halfway there. Now as we come over to this side here, we got a 4.7 right here at a depth of 10, and this 4.8 at a depth of 62. There's that energy kind of creeping up through here, dispersing, dropping off quakes as it goes. Down on this little ridge here, we have a 4.6 down at 18. All right, now let's go north up to this mess. Here's where we had our big quake the other couple weeks ago, and our new weak spot. And here we go. 5.3 down at 63. A 5.2 down at 60. 5.1 at 51 depth. And a 5.3 down at 58. Okay, so bunch of 5s right here, mid-range 5s, dispersing energy. It's good. It's relieving the energy in the system. Then as it creeps up, we always talk about these fulcrum points in this area right here by Taiwan. So they got their quake. They're 4.2 down at 17. Then we come over here, this little spot south of Japan, 4.7 off the Izu Islands down at a depth of 10. So that 5 energy is still kind of creeping up through the area. Now looky here. We finally have a 5.7 at a depth of 53 right here on the peninsula. We haven't had a lot of quake activity in this region. It's all been volcanic. With a small quake here and there. But for the amount of quakes we used to have, it's been awfully quiet. So here we go finally with a decent sized quake there, a 5.7. Down at 53. Now it hops over. The garden hose kink cuts it off and cuts it down to 4.9. So there's 4.9 energy kind of traveling down this system here. Not much dispersed right here. I haven't seen anything make it over. Little 3.1 down at Joshua Tree, but nothing too big. The rest of this is pretty quiet. Where was the other one I wanted to point out? Oh, down here in South America. Let's finish this off. First up here with this one is a 4.4 down at 119. 4.6 down at 24. There's a couple of quakes here. This is what I wanted to do. Okay, because it's more than one quake here. This one, 5.9. So there we go. There's another 6, basically, because you know what we do with 0.9s at this site, right? There's a 5.1 at 10. There's a 4.4 at 10. And what's this other one? Another 4.4 down at 10. So 6 mid-range 4 to 6 energy being released in a series of little quakes right here off the coast of Chile. All right. So some of the energy has been relieved in quakes, especially up here in this region. Okay. We'll watch this kind of closely. It looks to have quieted down a little bit. We got one way up here. 4.0 down at, that's 1.6 depth. That's right at the surface. So a little 4.1 way up here too. Little odd quake up there. But right now, pretty quiet. I saw, a couple of these 5s were popping off at the same time. So I think the earthquake releases have kind of ended a little bit right there for a moment. Okay. Now I'll come over to the volcano report here. And let's just kind of turn it this way. That way we don't have to see every ad. Alright. Come on, baby. There we go. So just take a little peek here already into the 24th. We have Fuego, Ibu, Marapi, Sangay, Luatolo, Sabancaya, Ebiko, and Suwano Sajima. That's a new one. Looks like we have a new one added to the list. Ebiko, volcanic ash advisory. This Suwanosejima has a volcanic ash rising, erupted at 2304. Let's just see what it says here. It erupted at 2304. Just a volcanic ash advisory. Okay, so we have a new eruption, this new volcano going active, just like I was saying last night. It could be any one of those on that semi-active list going fully active. So here it is right there. Ibu, explosive activity continues to 10,000 feet. We got Luatolo. Last night it was Luatoli, its little sister volcano. But here's Luatolo. Explosive activity continues at it as well to 6,000 feet. Okay, Marapi, explosive activity continues to 15,000 feet. Fuego, 14,500. Sangay, Sabancaya to 22,000. All right, and that was for the 24th. Now let's go back into what was today, now yesterday, and do the 23rd here. All right. Reykjanes, since the eruption has been officially reported as ended, the hazard map for the region was updated, coming into effect. Okay, blah, blah, blah. So Reykjanes still on the active list, but they're reporting that the eruption has been officially reported as ended. All right, that could come to life any moment. We got more pressure. So we'll watch that one closely. Thankfully, we haven't had any new CMEs or anything like that, so we'll continue to watch that. Mayon, we were talking about this one. It erupted. Unknown report, but Mayon's added to the list again. Ibu, here's Luatobi. A new eruption showed up from one of the two peaks. 11,000 feet on a new volcano, blew to 11,000 feet. Marapi, explosive activity continues there, 18,000 feet. Popo, 19,000. Santa Guida, Fuego, 15,000. Nevada del Ruiz, 21,000. See, we're having some decent blasts. This is all releasing energy, too. You got to remember when I'm reporting on the 21,000, but that also relieved a lot of pressure. That was like a big fart, releasing a lot of pressure or whatever. Anyway, sorry. Just the only way I can kind of relate it. All right, back to Sangay. Sangay, 25,000. Sabancaya, 24,000. Okay, and that was it for today. All right, so a lot of activity going off. A lot of volcanic activity, some pretty high blasts, releasing a lot of pressure. Okay, so that's good. A lot of farting around going on, but there we go. Now, let's come on over here real quick. So, let's come over here now and take a peek at this. Oh, first of all, here's America. Let me zoom in on America so you can get an idea where we're at. All right, now look how the separation, remember how we have this separation of flow, has really shifted more up this way now. All right, it was splitting right here, and before it was splitting over the middle. It had shifted to here. Now the split has shifted to way over here. All right, this subvortex over on this side has gotten a lot more elongated. Last night it was really small and compact and more intense. Now it's more elongated. And then now look at over here. As we get into the strongest part of our polar vortex is just mauling Europe, all through the Middle East, all of Russia through here and stuff. Okay, the polar vortex is dropped down to North Africa. All right, when I take the wind away, you can see the polar vortex is Spain and France. Spain and France are well into the polar vortex, and England is above north of the polar vortex. It's just odd. It's the weirdest configuration. Now something else has happened now. We were talking about this subvortex on this side. Now look at here. We have another subvortex coming off this side. So when we should be consolidating down to one main polar vortex being dominant, mostly over the top region of the planet, we have this triple vortex because it's peeling off of this, it's creating a backward flow. That's a subvortex, and another subvortex on the other side. When these should be dissipating and it should be consolidating into one big vortex centered right here, doing a circle right there. All right, so it's offset and it's got three vortexes now, or three vortexes, two subs and the main one. All right, now what this is doing is it's taking this polar vortex and shoving it down into India. All right, you see this? So watch out, India. You're going to have the polar vortex making a 180 and coming right down. Look how far south it's driving it down into Saudi Arabia. These guys are about to get wild weather again. I keep showing you Mecca getting hit again and again. So everybody watch out. We got this weird polar vortex configuration, and it really does a number on the upper jet stream. And just to take you there, it's really hard to even report on this upper jet anymore. It is just so out of whack. All right, you see this? It's just all out of whack. And that's because we got that subvortex that's rotating backwards. It's holding up these storms, making stuff go way up high and then go around. All right, and you can see this jet stream is really affecting northern Africa now and Saudi Arabia in that area. You also note here how it comes out. This is the upper jet, comes out of like Norway and then comes slamming, or out of England here, and then comes over Norway and comes slamming down through the Black Sea area with this cold air. So these guys are going to see snow and nasty storms. All right. We come over here to America, you can see that this ridge has taken this, what was just going to be this blunt force trauma to the face, and split it way up here and divert it way down there. And then we got another ridge. We got one pushing stuff up and one pushing stuff down, making these huge dips, bows, valleys, and just awkward weather. And let me go really quick up a little bit higher, and that's why. That's why, because the polar vortex over America is going backward. Okay, it's going from east to west over America and out across the Pacific. That should not be happening. The polar vortex should be coming down around here, feeding storms right into the west coast. But these storms are having to fight this upper level, and it does this to down below at the upper jet stream. Okay, these deep valleys, these deep bows, and these troughs. So we're going to have some variant weather. While we're here, let's just take a peek at our SO2. Sorry about that. All right, let me take the wind off of there. And we're kind of too bright there. Try to get you the authentic color here without cheating by tinting it or anything like that. Yeah, that's about right there. Yeah. Okay. So you see America first divided down the middle. I mean, there's literally a line going right down the middle, dividing this country. Is that a country divided or what, huh? Anyways, one half spewing out sulfur dioxide, very bad. The other half kind of cleaning up, actually. All right, the plumes up here all blowing over to that side. So, unfortunately, we got a divided country. Now, over here, China's is darkened up a little bit. That tells me we got some pressure building up still down below. Even though we really haven't taken another impact, we still have a fair amount of pressure down below. All right, come over to Java real quick. It used to be all purple, and it's kind of coming back that way. For a while, it was just this region, but now we're starting to see this whole island fill in again purple. All right. And watch out for the volcanoes in this area, the Krakatau, Semeru, Merapi, okay? And then Marapi up here, that's our new one. All right, so a little bit of pressure still there. It's not jet black, but it's dark purple, okay? Let's get on over to our forecast now. All right. Let me just go ahead and let this loop play real quick. A lot has changed. Sometimes I'm afraid to do these weather reports much past 3 days because even the 3-day outlook changes now. For the good in this case, because we had that big old monster storm, this thing, and it just kind of weakened right there. There was one little session right there where it kind of looked intense, but it's kind of petering out there. This one still does that weird. It even went back further and weakened. Did you see that? Before it was rotating here. When it does that backward V shape thing, it rotates further back this way into the country and dissipates. So once this loop comes around, there's that other storm that's into January 5th, 4th time frame. But that's still a little ways away for... All right, boom. Let's go back right here. Current conditions right now... Wow, wasn't really expecting this, but here we are anyway. Severe weather right now, possibly at the border of Texas, Oklahoma, the Panhandle kind of area, Oklahoma. Offshore stuff coming onshore here in Texas. Let's just take a little peek at that. All right, so this is our current setup right now, and as we continue to go forward here, let's monitor this storm here. So let me adjust for you guys there. All right. So here, current conditions. Now we go into the morning of December 24th. This severe weather now reaches up through Oklahoma into Kansas, crossing the border there. Severe weather from Texas going up into Oklahoma, offshore coming into Texas, offshore possibly coming into Louisiana there in the morning time. Then by the noon time, it kind of dissipates, but there's still a chance right through the middle of this area right here, and a little bit of icing coming in up in there as well. Then as we get into the end of convection, this is where it should blossom the most, and we should see our hardest thunderheads, but it seems to have dissipated, and we have this reversed negative tilt type storm front structure. Usually it's bowed this way. We have a reverse cup type structure going on that's still drawing moisture right down here into the Florida Panhandle. But that's at the end of convection. Then as we go into the nighttime, little chances up here in Missouri, Kansas area, but mainly down here at the Panhandle of Florida, Alabama, and possibly Mississippi. In that region, nocturnal thunderstorms and possible tornadoes tomorrow night. Then this thing kind of goes backwards, and here we are, the morning of Christmas, December 25th, with severe weather now hitting the Panhandle here and turning red. Okay, so this could be flooding event, high winds, hail, possible tornadoes, waterspouts making landfall. All right, now this structure, when it bent backward like that, this low is rotating this way. See this little icing event caught in between the snow and the rain? So this is Minnesota. Watch out here at the very corner of Minnesota for a possible icing event right there. The morning of Christmas. Then, as we go into the noontime of Christmas, this goes more easterly towards Florida. We got this moving more westerly back. This ice storm now, or this little field of ice that's in between the cold, warm air barrier there, is like Minnesota, kind of reaching back into South Dakota now and into Iowa. All right. then we're continuing with this icing. These little severe pockets, watch out for them. But now it's mainly the power of the storm is more up here. High winds. You see these millibars coming together as this storm really gains strength here, as well as we got stuff nailing British Columbia. Severe weather hitting Washington, Puget Sound area on Christmas there. This will be the night of Christmas. It kind of dissipates. It's reaching even further back west. You saw how it rotated up and went back that way. Now the icing's up into North Dakota, northern Minnesota. See this little region right in there? Okay. Snow on the backside. There's been snow on the backside of this the whole time. Still severe weather up here. Whoops. Now let's go into the morning of the 26th. Little chances up there. The noon of the 26th. You see how this dissipates, how it over-rotated and now kind of lost power and it dissipates? That'll be the end of convection, the 26th. Slight chances here at nighttime as moisture comes off the Gulf Stream now into South Carolina, possibly Tennessee area, right in that area. Okay. But it kind of skirts the coast. The rest of the storm just breaks up and dissipates. We still have our storm hitting over here. And then that's the noontime of the 27th. And convection the 27th. Nighttime, the morning of the 28th. Noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 29th. Noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 30th. Noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 31st, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 1st, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 2nd, noon, convection, nighttime. So we got quite a little clearing here. This is good. Morning of the 3rd, noon. So around the 3rd, we're going to possibly see a little conjoining of this low coming through, or this cold air mass coming down, conjoining with this right here. Possible severe weather here in Louisiana, but this is way out into January 3rd. That'd be the end of convection, January 3rd right there. The nighttime of January 3rd, the morning of the 4th, noon the 4th, convection, and out of there by nighttime the 4th. All right, that's a fast mover. And then it just clears up. Another possible low down here, but we'll see. This is so far out in the future, and this changes so drastically anymore. So, mainly this first storm here has reached back a little further and dissipated. So the severe chances have diminished, but there are still a few pockets of severe weather left in there. Mainly watch the Pacific Northwest too during that first opening round, and then for the 3rd and 4th time frame there. One more time, let it loop go around one more time here. Yeah, right here. So that's right now, and then that'll, whoops, come here, you. Hit the wrong button. Current. So that'll be the morning time. The next few hours here. The people in this region are going to wake up to severe weather here in Kansas, Oklahoma border, Texas going through there. Also offshore coming onto the shores of Texas there. Then the noon tomorrow. The end of convection tomorrow. And tomorrow night. Then all of a sudden we have this. Santa punctures the atmosphere, causes a bow shock, reverse angle storm curvature as he penetrates the atmosphere. Early morning, December 25th. Boom. And the wake off of the sleigh induces this spiral effect. And he just blows away that storm. All right. So Merry Christmas. All right. Let's clear out a couple of things here and get on over to our spiritual report tonight. What will Ormus do for you physically? Oh, you guys are having a great time in the chat. Good, 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 good. Alright, I gotta read that later. Now let's move on here. Let's get rid of this. Oh boy. Okay, we'll get rid of that. I want to get rid of this one. And get rid of this one. Oh, we'll keep that one. A couple new quakes right there. Right here's a, on the Cocos plate, a 4.3. And up here, a 3.0. All right, just a couple little active quakes, though. 4.3 right here, so that energy's out there still. There still is a little pressure down there, so we're going to continue to see these smaller quakes. We just had 4.3, so nothing too big. We'll see what comes about here. All right, though, I need to get to... Yeah, but what happened here? All right, there we go. All right, so we left off with the faces in the clouds and all kinds of weird stuff happening. And Jesus showing up in the clouds on Easter, turning into a lion with a crown on his head, all right? Now, there's been other... Where's this other one here? Now, there's been other faces that I've been capturing, seeing, actually. This one, at the moment, I got it freeze framed here because it's hard to capture this frame. This is the moment that this face right here in the sky spits lightning, okay? And we're going to come over and visit this video here in a second. But I got it freeze framed right here. It's kind of hard to capture this one little frame. But when I take it away and we start playing this video, a lot of you have seen this already. But there's a giant face in the clouds with an eye here, the nose. Its mouth is right here, and it's actually lightning coming out of its mouth right now at this frame right here. And this video was about the sound in the sky, all right? It wasn't about this face. These people didn't even see this face. They heard all kinds of weird noises coming from the sky under this cloud, okay? So here in a second, I'm going to play this for you. And what I want to really kind of stipulate about this video now, let me just back out of that frame now. So here's the face, all right? Now, I don't have any pictures of this face, but I have seen this face over my house. I've seen this face many times over me, okay? In the clouds, over my head, different towns, wherever I go, the same face. Not spitting lightning and making weird noises, but I have seen this face in the clouds around me a lot, okay? Just watching me, kind of hanging out, okay? So I never was able to capture this face, but what we need to talk about is this activity is happening to me everywhere I go, right? But now it's starting to happen around the world. So I don't necessarily have to be there now, and this activity is ramping up. All right, so now I'm going to play this video for you, and this is the original video. It's not sped up, and we're going to listen to the sound at normal speed, and then we'll speed it up, and you can hear the difference, all right? So here we go with this one. Hopefully. Volume, we're good to go.
Как один облак, приехать.
Okay, so there's this giant face in the clouds, and these guys, I don't know if they notice the face or not, but they're recording the sound. They're recording the sky because of the sound that's in the sky. Now, what I'm going to try to do here is speed it up a little bit for us as fast as I can, and we're going to play it again so you can kind of hear that groaning in a little faster motion here. And the screams and stuff you hear in the background are coming from the sky. Every once in a while you can hear a car drive by on the wet pavement, but the screams and squeals and whistles and stuff and groaning are all coming from the sky. This is double speed. Alright, so that's a real event, you guys, alright, and, oops, let me pause it right here. I said pause, now come back here. Let's see if we can capture that one frame where it was spitting lightning again, alright, almost. Anyways, this lightning bolt comes right out of its mouth, alright, it's spitting lightning. It never spit lightning at me, but, this is a real event, you guys, all right? And what I'm trying to tell you is I've seen this face so many times, all right? It's a real face. And now it's starting to do this stuff, okay? And now the spiritual realm is real, and I'm showing you this stuff so it won't shock you as much, all right? And, but the main part was I've seen this face many times. I've just never captured it. Usually it dissipates so quick. This was a 1 minute video, and from the moment right here, about 10 seconds in to about 140 is as long as that face lasts. It's only for like 1 minute and 30 seconds it's in the sky like that. All right, so these events are fast and quick, and this being one of the faces added to that series of faces in the clouds, all right? Now, just recently, all right, this happened a couple years ago. This activity has been taking place, already took place a couple years ago, all right? So, guys, we're close. We're way closer than you think, all right? So, I've seen this face plenty of times, hanging out in the clouds everywhere I go, as well as Jesus in the clouds and stuff too. Now we have this event that just happened, okay? And I'm sure you guys can all see the face in that one, okay? Similar events happen to me all the time. Everywhere I go, stuff like this going on. I don't even take pictures anymore because I don't have anywhere to put them. I ran out of storage. Anyways, here's another one of these Faces in the Cloud event, okay? And this was just recently. Where was this again? This was over Virginia, I think. Let me just take Hampton Roads, Virginia. Okay, so there's warnings in the sky, in the clouds, all right? And these are not just happening around me anymore. They're starting to happen around the world. Okay, that's the part I'm trying to tell you. Is it doesn't just follow me around all the time now. It's spreading and starting to happen around the world. Okay, with events like this one where it spits lightning and could possibly start fire. Okay, another thing that should be kind of blatantly obvious here is the spiritual realm is in control of the weather. Okay? Can you tell that the spiritual realm is in control of the weather? And when you see these storm fronts come in with faces on them like this, everybody sees the beautiful sunset. It's not until you're back far enough that you can see the whole face that you realize, oh my God, God's painting a picture, or painting the sky using the colors of the sunset to paint this picture. This is a three-dimensional picture. It's not just like two dots and a smiley face with a dot for a nose. That's a three-dimensional image that's being manipulated, used in the clouds to manipulate the contour, okay, using the coloration. Different clouds are different altitudes, have different color effects. So all these clouds are combined at different altitudes for different color effects to create this perfect shaped face. The odds of making a perfect shaped face is very, very hard. If you're an artist, and or even if you're not, try to draw a perfectly three-dimensional face. It's hard. It's really hard. It's like a mathematical formula. The eyes have to be a certain distance apart compared to the nose, compared to the forehead, compared to the mouth, the chin, in order for it to be a symmetrical face. It doesn't just all fall in line really easily like that. It's extremely hard for all that to fall in line just perfectly. Okay, so this being like the next to last dot, these are clues and hints and miracles. Okay, and they need to be viewed that way in order to see the bigger picture, the Christmas gift that I'm going to give to you guys tomorrow night show. We'll connect all the dots, and all this will start to make sense. When we connect the dots, you'll go, oh, now I see. Now it all makes sense. Now I get it. Okay? And you think, some of you may have figured it out already, but it's going to be a little different than what you think for some of you. Okay? All right, so I think that's about it for right now. Yeah, keep looking up. Watch your clouds, you guys. I'm watching these storm chasers that are going after these tornadoes, and they go rolling into a storm front like this, and there's a giant face in the clouds staring right at them, and they're driving right underneath the face, waiting for a tornado to drop out of its mouth. And I'm going, oh my God, they don't see this? But they don't. And it just continues to happen. And here, somebody was aware and actually captured it. And, everybody else has no explanation for this. Well, what's going on? But here at this channel, we do have an explanation for it. Okay? And pretty soon, tomorrow night, I'll give you the Christmas gift, and we'll connect all the dots, and you'll see the bigger picture, and then I think you'll understand. All right? So, it's not it for tonight. We still got our reading to do. All right, we'll just kind of do it to this image tonight, I guess. All right? Because now we've progressed to this point. All right? This is a very recent image. Just, like a week ago. All right? So the other one was a year or so ago. The spitting lightning. This is our most recent photo, and it's somebody else's, not mine. Okay, so if you thought maybe I was using what is it, Photoshop? Yeah, Photoshop or whatever to manipulate these photos to make them look a certain way or whatever. If you thought I was doing it, it's not me. Somebody else captured it now. Okay, so this kind of helps confirm a lot of the images that I've been showing you as being authentic, because they are. I'm not trying to impress you guys or scare you guys. This is real stuff. And I'm trying to warn you guys. That's what I'm trying to do. All right. So there's that image. And now let me get my reading set up here for a minute. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And for Christmas Eve, I have picked... Okay, let me get a little sip here. Thanks for bearing with me a second until we get into this reading. So tomorrow night, I'm going to connect all these dots, and it'll all make sense. Okay, and if you haven't been following along, you kind of need to go back and watch all these, the first, second, third, fourth, fifth day of Christmas to get caught up. You can't just hop in at the very end and expect to understand what's going on, because all of this put together makes the picture. All of these dots put together make the picture, not just the last four, not 2 and 6, not 1 and 5. It's all of them all together create the unseen image that it's basically impossible to see and can only be done through the dot to dot process. Okay, so let me get into the reading now. You guys have been waiting long enough, I guess. Okay, I am the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, dwelling in dazzling bright light. I am also your shepherd, companion, and friend, the one who never lets go of your hand. Worship me in my holy majesty, and come close to me and rest in my presence. You need me both as God and as man. Only my incarnation on that first, long ago Christmas could fulfill your neediness. Since I went to such extreme measures to save you from your sins, you can be assured that I will graciously give you all you need. Nurture well your trust in me as Savior, Lord, and friend. I have held back nothing in my provision for you. I have even designed you to live within you. Rejoice in all that I have done for you, and my light will shine through you into the world. I speak to you from the depths of eternity. Before the world was formed, I am. You hear me in the depths of your being, where I have taken up residence. I am Christ in you, the hope of glory. I, your Lord and Savior, am alive within you. Learn to tune in to my living presence by seeking me in silence. As you celebrate the wonder of my birth in Bethlehem, celebrate also your rebirth into eternal life. This everlasting gift was the sole purpose of my entering your sin-stained world. Receive my gift with awe and humility. Take time to explore the vast dimensions of my love. Allow thankfulness to flow freely from your heart in response to my glorious gift. Let my peace rule in your heart, and be thankful. Those who wait upon me will gain new strength. Spending time alone with me is so good for you, but is increasingly countercultural. Multitasking and staying busy have become the norm. During the Advent season, there are even more things to be done and places to go. So I encourage you to take a break, free from all the activities and demands for a while. Seek my face and enjoy my presence, remembering that Christmas is all about me. Waiting upon me is an act of faith, trusting that prayer really does make a difference. Come to me with your weariness and burdens, being candid and real with me. Rest in my presence and tell me about your concerns. Let me lift the burdens from your aching shoulders. Trust that I am able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all you risk or ask or think. As you arise from these quiet moments, hear me whispering, I am with you throughout the day. Rejoice in the new strength you have. Rejoice in the new strength you have gained through spending time with me. I need another sip here. All right, we got one more to go. Let me take one more sip. Okay. Now, prepare your heart for the celebration of my birth. Listen to the voice of John the Baptist, who said, "Prepare the way for the Lord, make straight paths for him." Christmas is the time to exalt my miraculous incarnation when the Word became flesh and dwelt among you. I identified with mankind to the ultimate extent, becoming a man and taking up residence in your world. Don't let the familiarity of this astonishing miracle dull its effect on you. Recognize that I am the gift above all gifts, and rejoice in me. Clear out the clutter and open up your heart by pondering the wonders of my entrance into human history. View these events from the perspective of the shepherds who were keeping watch over their flocks at night. They witnessed first one angel and then a multitude of them lighting up the sky, proclaiming, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace among those whom he is pleased." Gaze at the glory of my birth just as the shepherds did, and respond with childlike wonder. All right, so that was our reading for tonight. I hope you heard the message in there. Brings a little peace and joy to your heart this time of the year, this season. And now let's kind of go into the chat here a little bit. Somebody gave me an email. Are they still here? Is Signs and Wonders still here? Because if you had a question, I could answer or try to answer. Just kind of going through the chat, reading real quick. I know it takes a second for you guys to hear. 8-second delay, 8-minute delay, 8-hour delay. Who knows anymore? Oops. All right, let's just kind of. Brian, one more before I go. Want me to do another reading real quick before you go? Is that what you were asking there? Okay. Are the outages normal to you? The power outages? Is that what you're asking about? Are the power outages normal? Because the power outages we're having problems because of our sun. The sun is affecting our grid, affecting the weather. The weather affects our power outages. When you got a storm that's got winds of 120 mile an hour plus raging up the East Coast, it knocks out power and knocks down telephone poles. Some of these CME events, these R2 and 3 radio blasts that we get, they can probably affect the power grid if it's not very if it's a weak power grid, it's not structurally sound, it could be affected by the sun. Expect more power outages because of storms, earthquakes, volcanic activity. Every time the sun kicks something off, this planet reacts a few days later. That energy hits the magnetic field, that gets directed to the poles send it to the core absorbs that energy in the form of heat, and a metal core, when heated, expands. The shell around it is metal too. When it heats up, it expands, and it wants to expand outward into the magma, and probably can up to a certain point because of pressure coming down from above onto the shell. So the shell probably is easier for it to expand inward down onto the core. And that's where we get our core and shell making contact with each other and scraping along, leaving these low frequency waves come up from the core up to the crust. And when they hit the crust is thicker, and it slows those sound waves down a little bit, down to these low frequencies. We're starting at 0 at the top of this graph. So there's 0, 1 hertz, 2 hertz, 3, and now we're up to 7.83 right here is the Schumann. There's the range that our magnetic field hums at. That's the range that the magnetic field resonates at. And when it scrapes down below, it causes all these low frequencies to excite, and the white represents the intensity of these frequencies. Okay, so it's not just humming at 7.83, it's humming at every frequency from 1 through 20, say at this stripe right here, very intensely. So you're getting all these ELFs, extra low frequencies, extremely strong ones, hitting you and bombarding you when you're only used to the 7.83. All right, your body and your mind are only used to having a constant 7.83. Stuff like this comes along, it disrupts your modus operandi, in your body and your mind, and has effects on you. All right, also has effects on our planet. It's also an indication of pressure has built up. All right, when you don't see it scraping, the pressure's been relieved. All right, so that's a little bit how that goes. Anyways, let's go to that one right there. See, that's a beautiful image. It looks scary, but man, what an artist God is, huh? Using clouds and the coloration of the clouds to do the shading in these pictures is awesome. Even the shading done here in these like black and white clouds still, is doing the shading to create the three-dimensional face effect, which is more than just a little puppy dog in the clouds with the, if you made this the tail and that the nose. All right, this is more than pareidolia. Pareidolia, if how would I put this? If you looked at a random floor of, just random tiles on a floor, you would not see a face in it. Okay, this is actually designed and structured because there is a real face in it. That's the spiritual realm in the clouds. And again, another example of how the spiritual realm controls the weather. Both of these are examples. All these ones faces in the clouds, those are all examples of how the spiritual realm controls the weather. Huh? Isn't it? All right. I think that's it for tonight. Yeah, we got one more to go. Tomorrow night we'll connect all the dots with one more video here. We'll connect all the dots, and you guys will receive your little Christmas gift from me. All right? But that's it for now. I love you all. I miss you all. God bless you all. And until my next show, I'll be back.